Namaste. May patangke dwara photo tahu. That means in Hindi, I am doing kite aerial photography. I am Nicola, French citizen. I'm living in Pondy Photo for the last 5 years with my family. And I do kite aerial photography, which means I am using a kite, just saw it. For lifting camera, we're on a small radio control system with a video monitoring, and I just snap photos from the air, just standing on the ground. I've been coming to India for the last 18 years, regularly shooting this beautiful country. So for this I'm using a kite to do aerial photography. That means I'm using a big kite, I don't know if you see it behind me, above my head. And on the line of which I attach a camera, a big professional camera, which I control with this radio remote. You see the camera over there, and this helps me to frame left, right, up, down, and I have a video monitoring showing me exactly what the camera sees, and that's it. So what I like with this is that it's a completely eco-friendly way to take aerial photography, especially if we compare it to all these helicopters and drones or whatever, which are very noisy and intrusive. The flying a kite is completely non-intrusive, silent, eco-friendly, very flexible, and I like going with the wind only. So this kite aerial photography allows to take very low altitude shots, vertical shots, oblique shots, whatever. I can go up to 250 meters, 300 meters if necessary, but I like mostly the low altitude, like between 20 and 80 meters. That's where we get the most interesting things, because we still have the human scale. We can see the human activities, something happening. It's not only like a Google Earth or something where you see only landscape. With these low altitude shots, we see humans, we see animals, we see things happening, and I like this scale. All these are natural Indian colors. I don't trick any photos. I don't do heavy post-production, anything, nothing. Just regular optimizing the photos, like, just a little bit of light and color, but basic ones and sharpness, like all photographers do. That's the basic thing, because I'm shooting in RAW format. That means I have to develop the photos on Photoshop or any other software, but I just do basic stuff. The trick is to take photos at the right time of the day. I never shoot between 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. for example, when the light is too harsh and there's no shadow, it's too bright. So all these nice colors, I think they just come from the sun at the right time of the day. That's it. I might wait for the right moment to happen, like when I shot these Kalari fighters in Kerala. I had to wait for the right moment to shoot. There's no setup in these pictures, nothing. I never asked anyone to pose for the photo, nothing. I just clicked and that's it. So no, yeah, I can wait for the right moment to happen. But for me, a photograph is more than 50%. A good photograph is more than 50% due to the light. And if you wait for the proper light, if you aim at the proper direction regarding the light, whether you go backlight or front light, whatever, but the light for me makes more than 50% of the success of the photo, sometimes more than 70%. I try, and that's maybe why corporates or any kind of clients will ask me to work for them, because they like the way I shoot and they like the aesthetic results of my photos. Even if it's for a corporate, for the building, I will try to make it nice, obviously. So, and same as I said before, I will work on the light. I will try to find the proper light. For example, I have an assignment to finish in Chennai, near Chennai. It's just a building, you know, like you have thousands of them. But for this building, I want to do a nice photo, and I'll need to have the proper light, the proper clear sky, which we don't have these last weeks. It's always a little bit hazy. So I keep on waiting for the proper day to go in there and shoot. And it's 3 months. I still wait for this proper day to go and shoot. So despite that, this client still asked me to do another assignment in Bangalore. So that means he's not so much upset about this delay and postponing this mission, because he knows that he will get nice result. I've been doing kite aerial photography for the last 18 years now. But before that, I was just an amateur photographer, like many of us, many of people. And I'm just, I would say, self-made man. Just tried and experimented and tried again, and that's it. And get some advices from left or right, and seek from some information on the net when the net came, because I studied before the internet exists. So no, I just tried, experimented myself. Well, I would say technology is very important, but technology is also a trap for so many people. Before technology exists, people were already doing beautiful photographies. Technology did not help people to make beautiful photography. Basically, it brought some new tools, some new concepts, some new way of taking photography. But the basic photography, I would not say skill, but the basic photography wish, the will to take photograph never needed technology for that. And on the other side, I would say that technology is a trap, that in the sense that what is frightening me is these mobile phones. I give you an example. I had an exhibition in Delhi 1 month ago. It was kind of same setup as here, and every morning we had hundreds and hundreds of school coming, visiting the exhibition, and all these kids, teenagers, they were looking at all the photographs, all of them, but they were not looking with their eyes. They were looking with a mobile phone. Oh, look, click, and then next one. Oh, click, next one, click, next one. And I'm sure that if I came to them and say, oh, stop, what did you just click now? They could not answer. I don't know. And they had to browse their mobile phone to see what they had clicked. And for me, this is a disaster, because the young generation, they look through technology only. And that's, for me, it's a real disaster. I think the education, and I have young kids myself, so it's a very actual and crucial subject for me and for my wife. I think in that way, technology is very harmful during the young ages, up to teenage, up to, I would say, 15, 16, I don't know, more or less. Giving tablets, giving Nintendo, DS, blah blah, PlayStation, everything to these kids without control, and some kids have 3, 4, 5 hours a day they watch at a screen. This, I may go a bit far saying that, but this will induce a mutation of the way the generation will use their own senses. So maybe that's the future, I don't know. I'm a little bit old generation, so for me it's a little bit frightening, but they, in that way, that's why these kids, when they watch at my exhibition in Delhi, they were not even looking at the photos. They were just snapping them. So, what's the point snapping a photo during an exhibition? So the education in that sense, I mean, I feel that parents and teachers and everything should educate the young generations in the sense that please forget technology. You will have your whole life to deal with if you need or if you want. But since you're young, you are still building your senses, you are still building your nervous system, and your nervous system won't be finished up until you're 20. You're still growing up till you're 20, 22. So up to that stage, you have to build your nervous system the most naturally possible. Otherwise, you will lose your human capabilities and blah 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 blah. I work on different levels. For sustaining my way of life and my family, I work for corporates. Unfortunately, I would say, because it's not the most interesting job. But I work for corporates, for builders, for town planners, and then so these are not the photos I do for them, but I will shoot a plot, where they plan to build something, or this kind of job. This is for the kind of daily income. Beside of that, I work for some institutions more interesting for me, like for ministries of tourism, for example. I've done some very extensive jobs for Ministry of Tourism from Pondicherry, from Karnataka, for Kerala, from Rajasthan. And then it's more interesting because I will shoot nice photos, I would say, not only useful photos for technical purposes, but nice photos used for calendars, postcards, brochures. I also shoot sometimes for corporates like resorts, hotels, things like that. So then I will look for aesthetic photos. So it's more interesting. And the third part of my job is doing more personal job, like you see some of it here, which I like just for the aesthetic point of view, as an artistic point of view. And then I do exhibitions like here. I do exhibitions in Europe, in India, whatever. I do limited prints in collections, and then this sometimes also help for the income.